Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I have the second round of the Manufacturers Cup at the Daytona International Speedway, the road course variant. We started in P6, don't know where the P3 came from, but not too bad with qualifying. Instantly gonna be gaining a position off turn 1. Looks like the guy just ran a little bit wide, got his tires dirty, or just didn't decide to turn in for some reason. But anyways, looking forward to the front of the pack. Like I said, did a pretty good job in qualifying. Not the worst, but yet not the best. Possibly going to be looking for a move in this fast left-hander. Decided a little bit different. Just wanted to keep up with the top, top 3 and possibly go for a win. For some reason, the 2 cars in front just decided to ghost. Don't know why. Got a big snap of oversteer right there. Definitely had to catch that. And if you ever have driven a Lexus, like I said before, it is very twitchy on the rear end. If you try to put the power down too often, it will definitely let you know, especially on the hard tires. I'm trying to get a good exit out of that corner onto one of the 2 banking sections of the course. I will say, I definitely really enjoy the Daytona road course. It is super fun, and if you get a lap hooked up, it is so satisfying. Coming into the chicane, it looks like a little argy-bargy above or ahead. What is argy-bargy, you may ask? I don't know. I'm just using it. Tucking into the slipstream, possibly going to be looking for an overtake into turn 1. Looks like P4s is all over the road. He's trying to look for a way around, but honestly, the best option is just to stay behind. It looks like he makes a little bit of contact to P3, running into the rear end of him, which will promote me into P4. Heading into turn 1 on lap 2. Going to take it just nice and easy, just take my line, and it looks like everything is going to come crashing down. We went up into P2 and then had a big snap of oversteer, pushing the guy wide off onto the dirt, and then I just completely outbroke myself running into the side of the Porsche. Everything is kicking off right now. Somehow, some way, I came out of that in P2. Definitely was not expecting that. Definitely not the cleanest racing ever, and I will definitely say that 100%. We are looking forward ahead now, trying to close the gap to P1, my apologies. And with this race, we don't have to do any form of pit stops or fuel management, but the tire wear is definitely going to be kicking in about lap, I'd probably say about 16, 17. We are going to be jumping ahead a little bit to the the end of lap 4, beginning of lap 5. Kind of extending the gap to the car, or to first place. We weren't really able to keep up with him, but we are well under pressure from position 3, my apologies. Is he going to look for an overtake in turn 1? He's going to send it, and luckily he was able to hold on to it. In the moment, I thought he completely outbroke himself. I thought he was going to go flying off the track, but luckily, and hats off to him, he was able to get the traction and keep it in there. Coming out of this, was that turn 4 or 5? Something like that. He had a big snap of oversteer. Luckily, he was able to catch it. And at this point, I wasn't really trying to fight with P2. I was just trying to work with him to get up to P1. I just definitely wanted us to work together to try to hunt down P1. That way, we could have a possibility of fighting for the win. But for some reason, he kept making a few mistakes here and there, and I just kept finding my way into being in front of him. Not 100% sure if he was just having trouble with like tire wear or anything like that, but we are well within P3, obviously. Setting pretty good sector times within the slipstream. About over 3 seconds from the lead. Trying to get a good exit out of this chicane. I will definitely say that is my strongest point on this track, is that exit of that chicane. I always get a good run out of it, and as you see, I'm well within the slipstream. Like I said before, not trying to fight with this guy. I'm just trying to, look at the bigger picture very early on in the race, just trying to work with him to get up into P1, or close the gap to P1, my apologies. But as you see, just giving him a little bump draft, you know, which is an indication that, hey, I want to work with you. But unfortunately, he just outbreaks himself and he runs wide, which, I mean, the gap's there and I'm going to take that. Unfortunately, you know, I didn't really want to make that move because I knew he was at that moment faster than me. And I wanted us to work together to, like I said, close the gap to P1. But with that mistake, it promotes us to P2. Trying to, like I keep saying, I know I sound like a broken record, but trying to close the gap to P1. Looks like we are just around the 2.5 second mark. Big snap of oversteer. And that corner right there is probably my worst corner of the track because it is so hard to just get the power down evenly to where the car just doesn't snap. The rear end just doesn't snap out. As you see, I didn't get a very good exit out of that corner, which is going to put us in prime position for P3, now P2 to pass us. Again, I'm not trying to fight this guy. I just want to work with him to get to P1. You know, that way we can all fight for the win. So again, just bump drafting him, showing him, hey, let's work together. You know, I know you're faster than me in parts of the track, so why don't we just do it? Again, he runs wide. I'm going to take that opportunity every single day of the week. You know, inside's open. I get a better run through the chicane. I'm going to take it. As we are heading to a lap, or the beginning of lap 7, the guy is well within my slipstream. He's pulling out, trying to look for move. I don't think he fully understood that I wanted to work with him. I mean, there he gave me a little bit of a bump draft. So maybe he knew, but it's hard to tell. I was just trying to, you know, stay clean, just trying to be consistent as possible and trying to close the gap down to P1, hoping for an opportunity to, you know, fight for the win. But as you can see, P3 is well within half a second of us. He is right up our exhaust. He's itching for an overtake, setting the fastest first sector on lap 7. So the pace was there in the car. It was just trying to be consistent, and especially through this corner, because I for the life of me, I could just not get that corner right throughout practice, qualifying, and the race. Getting some good traction out of this corner. Again, just trying to get a good exit, not trying to, you know, lose the rear end, which is going to lose us time overall. Coming through the first the first banking corner. Looks like the Porsche behind is just gonna stay behind. Looks like he's not really gaining a whole lot. Again, he's not he's not in my slipstream for who knows. But coming through the chicane, looks like the guy in P1 is having a little bit trouble with either tire wear or just small mistakes are starting to creep in. Not 100% sure. That gap was always fluctuating. It would come down to like just over 2 seconds, and then he would completely next lap be like 4 seconds ahead of me. So it was a very difficult race. I knew I could be consistent with him if I just had some help, I guess, but you live and you learn. Getting a little bit closer behind. I think I got a little bit of contact to the Porsche. I don't think he meant to do that on purpose. He just broke a little too late. Possibly looking for the inside. He's going to go for it, and he's going to run me wide. And again, like I said, I was not trying to fight this guy. I was just really wanting to hunt down P1. But, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how it was. You know, you live and you learn. And now we're set up with a new goal to stay with P2 and, you know, possibly just help him get to P1 as well. You know, just thinking about the long game, not getting the best exit through this corner. It looks like the Porsche in front actually got a little bit squirrely, but as you can see, with that poor exit, we are well out of the slipstream, if I can speak English correctly. But yeah, again, like I keep saying, just trying to stay consistent. I know I can be fast on a track, but I'm really working on trying to stay consistent lap after lap after lap with tire involved. And as you can see, the guy in second didn't really get a good run out of that chicane. I got a better run. Now I am within the slipstream, and again, I think I flashed my lights at him like, hey, let's just work together. You know, he's pulling away, the guy in first place, of course. You know, but it's part of racing. You know, sometimes people just don't want to work with you. Other times they want to. You know, it's just how it is. But overall, this race was pretty decent to this point. A little bit of a sit rep. We are on lap 9. Just began English. Can't speak it. I'm sorry. We just began lap 9. Setting in P3. Got a big snap of oversteer. Luckily, I was able to catch it, but that was going to put us under immense pressure from the guy behind, which was just keeping up with me and P2. Got a little bit tapped from the rear end. It's going to send me just a little bit wide. And again, big snap of oversteer. At this point, I'm really feeling the pressure, really trying to just get back into focus, back into, you know, that mindset of just being consistent. Again, a little bit of oversteer on the exit of that corner, not getting the best exit onto this baking portion, which is going to put P4 within my slipstream. I don't think he's going to be making a look in for like an overtake into the chicane. Again, I'm just checking my fuel a little bit because I started to notice, you know, maybe fuel was a little bit of a issue. I mean, if you manage it just ever so slightly, you can make it, but looking behind, he looks like he's just staying within the slipstream. You know, just it looks like P2 completely just pulled away from me and the guy in P4 with that last lap with me and all those mistakes. And, you know, as you can see, those simple mistakes added up cost you greatly over a lap. And it looks like P2 is going to have a little bit of a mare through that first corner. Looks like we gained a little bit of time back on him. Coming into the infield section, looking for a good exit, trying to get the power down just as smoothly as possible. You know, especially like I keep saying with this Lexus, it is very difficult. You know, she is very what do I want to say, tail happy. You know, especially on the hards, I've come to realize that if you try to put any form of power down on the hards and too much power, she will instantly step out. So you really got to get used to a driving style. That's one thing I've definitely noticed about this Lexus compared to every other Group 3 car, as we set a purple second sector. But anyways, going back to that, the Lexus is very sensitive and very, you know, different compared to all the other cars that I've driven in Group 3. And it's very challenging, and that's one thing I really like about it, is it can be, you know, very challenging but very rewarding at the same time. Anyways, going back to the action, went on a little bit of a tangent, but as you saw coming into that chicane, it looks like P4 was just right up behind me, maybe looking for a move, but it looks like he got a bad exit out of that chicane, as well as the guy in P2. Looks like I'm kind of getting into the slipstream of him a little bit. We are setting purple sectors after purple sectors. Is this going to be the fastest lap of the race? I don't believe it was. No, it was not. But that is still really good to see, especially, you know, trying to catch up to P2. It was just purple sector after purple sector after purple sector. The guy in P2 is having some issues with, I think, tire wear. I think tire wear is really starting to slowly set in now, as you see, going wide, as well as myself. Maybe looking for an opportunity for an overtake going onto the first baking corner, I should say. Sorry, again, English. It's my only language I speak, but yeah, I can't speak it. Coming out of, what is that? Turn whatever, I guess. I don't remember the numbers. Anyways, trying to get a good exit. Went a little bit deep on the apex, missed it a little bit. Trying to get a good exit, like it keeps saying. Sound like a broken record. I know, I'm so sorry. Looks like we are just outside of his slipstream, but as I've said before, I am definitely a lot better on the exit of the chicane, and I knew he was kind of a little bit weaker on the exit, so as you see, he runs a little bit wide. I get a pretty good exit, not the best, didn't carry the maximum amount of speed, but did carry a fair amount of speed, well within his slipstream, coming into the home stretch and into turn 1. Maybe look for an overtake, but again, still early days. Race is only half over. Don't want to chance anything and ruin our race altogether. Heading across the finish line, we're gonna go on the outside. Again, not really looking for an overtake, but he does break a little bit wide, or a little bit late, which is forcing him a little bit wide. Trying to get a good exit, just try to stick with him as much as possible through this, through the midfield section. That way we can get the slipstream through the bank corners, and hopefully looking for an overtake opportunity. A little bit of a sip rep, lap 12, middle of lap 12. We are still in P3. Gained some time back to P2, kind of dropped P4 after those few little mistakes I had on, I don't remember which lap it was, but so far so good, doing pretty good. Overall, we've gained 3 positions because we started in P6, staying well within striking distance of P2. If he makes a mistake, I can easily capitalize on it and move up a position. But at this point, which I did not realize this about this race, but it is starting to become day. I mean, it's been day for a few laps now, but I really enjoyed that race, or that part of the race is dark to day. Something new. Getting a pretty good exit out of that chicane. As you can tell, like I keep saying, broken record. The guy in second, just not getting the best exit out of that chicane, not carrying enough speed, well within the slipstream. Maybe gonna look for an overtake, but again, not really trying to force anything. Not really. Gave him a little bit of a bump, trying to work with him again, trying to close down to P1 because we were about 5 seconds away. Again, with that little bump, the guy just outbrakes himself and runs himself wide, which is going to promote us into P2. As you can see, the guy in first makes a little bit of mistake, loses a little bit of time, and it would not be one of my videos without me spinning. Unfortunately, yes, I got on the power too early, too soon, and we lost positions. As you see, we are back down into P5. Dirty tires, just big mistake there. Again, with one mistake comes many, and it's unfortunate. It's just, like I always say, simple mistakes add up over a lap. Again, oversteer out of that last corner and completely losing another position. Dirty tires, and it's a bad combination. But up until that point, it was a very solid race. It was a very fun, interesting, competitive race. But now, unfortunately, we have to keep looking forward and looking for a new opportunity to gain a position. As you saw going into that chicane, I was not expecting that guy to break that much. I almost rear-ended him and, punting him off the track, but luckily I was able to slow down enough. Again, working with this guy for now, but at this point, I was really upset with myself because I was in a really good position and I made a simple but costly mistake, and I was wanting to get as many positions and as much time back as possible. So gave him a little bit of a bump draft, and then we just sailed around him after we got back into the slipstream, coming into the middle of the midfield, if that makes any sense whatsoever, on lap 14. after that after lap 13, I was definitely very cautious through that corner. I didn't want to lose the rear end again and lose even more time, setting a purple first sector again. So as you can tell, I mean, it also doesn't help with the slipstream, but the pace was there. It was just being consistent was my problem. As you can see, going completely wide of this corner, completely missing the apex, which is going to ruin my exit onto this back straight. And it's, again, simple mistakes. And that's one thing I really want to work on is taking those simple mistakes out. You know, not getting on the power too soon and not early enough. And it's just oversteer, blah, 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 blah. But I definitely want to work on that. Definitely want to work on my race pace. Because, in my opinion, I have some pretty good one lap pace, but I'm definitely trying to get into a good race pace situation. Anyways, back to the action. We are well within the slipstream of P4. Possibly going to be looking for an overtake. Again, like I said, I was very upset at this moment. Gonna dart down the inside. Coming across the start-finish straight, or finish line, duh. Coming into turn 1 well ahead of him. It looks like he got a little bit of a tap from behind, and again oversteer, and I just give that position right back. And maybe at this point I was just driving too angry, which is also going to cost me another position as another Porsche slides up on me on my inside. Looks like we were about to go side by side through this fast left corner, but he decided to pull out at the pretty early, in my opinion. Just trying to be back on the consistent grind, trying to keep my mind in the race, you know, trying not to let those mistakes dictate the rest of the race. You know, I'm in this position for a reason. You know, I made those mistakes, and I can't blame anyone other than myself. So the only thing I can do is work hard to not undo those mistakes, but learn from those mistakes. Coming on to the back straight on lap 15, we are P5, and it looks like, you know, first place is still, you know, he's still there. But unfortunately, with all those mistakes, I wasn't able to catch up to him, obviously. And with everyone else being consistent, not having a whole lot of mistakes like I did, or major mistakes like I did, they were able to, you know, keep within a good distance of first place. But as of right now, we are still positive. We've still gained one position. You know, we could have gained more, but also, on the other hand, we could be dead last. Coming into turn 1, spotting our braking point, just taking it nice and easy. You know, don't want to overshoot it like I did on the previous lap. You know, just trying to learn from those mistakes, trying to be consistent. Like I keep saying, like a broken record, you know. Looks like the guy in P4 goes completely wide through that corner, which is going to give us a little bit of a sniff to maybe look for an opportunity to overtake. We are starting to get into the dying laps of this race, so the fighting will definitely start to pick up, because obviously, you know, beginning of the race, super hectic, middle of the race, you know, pretty laid back. Everyone's just trying to manage their times and so on and so forth. And then near the end is when it kicks back up. Coming onto the back straight for the 16th time of this race. Trying to, you know, like I keep saying, just trying to manage, trying to get consistent. But coming into the chicane, it looks like the guy in front of us is going to completely just go or get the chicane completely wrong, get to the grass, dirty tires, so on and so forth. That is going to give us a free position back. Thank you, please. I will gladly take a free position. Now, possibly, gonna try and pull away from the guys behind. You know, gonna try and get those I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to extend the gap. That's the words. There it is. English. But coming into turn 1, taking it nice and easy. Tire is definitely starting to kick in. Definitely want to take it nice and easy on the acceleration. As you can see, got a big snap of oversteer. I'm jumping forward a little bit to lap 18. Nothing really happened between that small gap. But as you can tell or see, the guy in P5 is really, really close. He's well within half a second of me. And this was a really good battle between me and the guy behind. We dueled a lot. We were trading positions these last few laps. Unfortunately, I ran a little bit wide, which will invite him back through. And if he ever sees this video, which probably not, definitely hats off to him. Very clean racing, very respectful racing. A little contact here and there, but nothing too malicious or foul intention or anything like that. Hats off to him. Was definitely a very fun ending to this race. Trying to get a better exit out of this corner, trying to get like I said, a power down, trying to get him to possibly make a mistake into the chicane, but I am well within the slipstream. Maybe gonna look for a move into the chicane. The Lexus definitely has a lot more top speed than the Porsche does, and it looks like I am gonna pull out and go into the inside of the chicane. It looks like he kind of backs out a little bit. Looking back at it now, that probably wasn't the best thing to do, because now he's going to have that slipstream, a much longer slipstream all the way down the main straight into turn 1. So maybe I should have just waited behind him. Coming to the end of lap 18, he's going to try a move around the outside. He definitely has the momentum, and he's going to, like I said, try to make a move around the outside into turn 1. I'm going to give him the room, well within or alongside me, but unfortunately he's just going to outbrake himself just a little bit, which is going to force him off the track. But I'm going to get a big snap of oversteer, which doesn't help me, unfortunately. 2 mistakes by 2 different drivers in the same corner, doesn't really help either one of the drivers. Coming through the infield section, this isn't really an opportunity to overtake through these corners. Maybe into this corner if you really do a dive bomb, but just trying to get a nice exit, and then also trying to get a good exit out of this left-hander onto the back straight. Definitely looking to extend that gap to the car behind as much as possible. And it looks like we're going to be able to do that around or on this back straight onto the main straight. We're going to be jumping forward into about the same part of the track onto lap 20. He did gain a little bit, but unfortunately I made a big mistake there with the tire wear and oversteer, too much power. That's going to invite him up on to the inside, and I'm just going to tuck in behind him, and just mistakes, but you live and you learn. Definitely within striking distance of P4. Not really going to look for an opportunity into this corner or into the chicane. Would rather have a better exit out of the exit of the chicane onto the main straight. Looks like he got a pretty good exit. I kind of compromised my line because he parked it on the apex, and like I said, I'll give him that. He was very respectful and very respectful fighting between the two of us, and definitely would race against him again. Possibly gonna be looking for a move around the outside. A little bit of contact there, a little wheel banging, but nothing too harmful. Spotter braking point. Looks like he's not gonna overshoot it too much. Hats off to him again. Like I said, he was really, me and him had a really good battle, all the way to the dying end. Looking for an opportunity down the outside, but have a little bit of a switchback maybe, trying to get the power down as much as possibly for him. But I got a big snap of oversteer, which is going to compromise our run through the last, half of this lap, which is also inviting P6 into the equation, which we do not want that. We want P4. We do not want to lose position. We want to gain a position. Trying to get a good exit, as much as possible. as well as out of this left-hander onto the back straight. Went a little bit wide, trying to, like I said, get the power down as smoothly as possible. Looks like we're not in his slipstream. We're out of his slipstream, unfortunately, but with the Lexus having a higher top speed than the Porsche, we are going to close him in a little bit. And at this point, I knew I wanted to get a lot better of an exit out of the chicane. That way I could possibly look for an overtake. As you can see, we are taking a much cleaner and closer line to the apexes, carrying a lot more speed. Now we are well within the slipstream. Are we going to be able to pull this off? Can we get P4 coming to the line out of the last corner? Drag race to the line. We are going to be pulling out of the slipstream, carrying the momentum on the outside, and it's going to be carrying us into a P4. Not too bad of a result. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.